5 suspects arrested in Thohoyandou on Friday in connection with a deadly shootout with police will appear in court today. The suspects are linked to the 19 suspected cash and transit robbers killed during that encounter. At the same time, the families of those killed in Friday's shootout have begun the process of identifying their loved ones. Let's get more on the story with SABC News reporter Mahlako Komane. A very good afternoon to you, Mahlako. Gruesome story. Just give us the latest.
Yes, good afternoon indeed, Nzinga. We are here at the Chilidzini Hospital in Thohoyandou. We're just behind me as I just step out of the shot just to show you what is happening here. This would be the mortuary, and where you see a crowd gathered there, those are the various families that have come, to identify their loved ones of those 19 suspects. Remember, up until Saturday evening, there were 18. We were told there were 18 on Saturday night. 19th body was then also discovered according to police within the house, so that brought the tally to 19 bodies. As well as this morning, we were also told an additional suspect in terms of what we were initially told in Thohoyandou. 4 people were arrested. It has now moved to 5. Those are the ones that are appearing at the Vuane Magistrates Court. We understand that's going to be in the later in the afternoon. Rather, there's some in terms of processes that they need to complete. But here, these are some of the families. Nzinga, earlier on I spoke to a lady here who says her son was the gardener, Alex Mnyambi, 24-year-old Alex Mnyambi, who was a gardener at that house. He had been doing the garden there about once a week or so for the last 6 months. He was also among those that were shot at that home on Friday afternoon during that shootout that lasted 90 minutes. We were told. We'd also heard police linking these suspects to various cash and transit heists that had taken place within the province. They said they were spread out between the 3 provinces of Limpopo, Mpumalanga, as well as Gauteng. And just listening in and hearing just some of these families speak. I know some of the families coming from Soweto. I know there's a family here that comes from Gauteng. So we are seeing that in terms of what police are saying, it would seem in terms of the 3 provinces, there is a footprint of the suspects. But also when we wanted that official confirmation in terms of the cleaner, Juliet Mugabe, she was a mother of 5, was also shot. She was the cleaner at that house, had only been there for 3 months. There's today the 24-year-old gardener. So when we spoke to police earlier on today, the Hawks provincial spokesperson, Lieutenant Colonel Matimba Maluleke, and asking, are you able to confirm that 2 of the 19 indeed was a gardener as well as a cleaner in the home, saying that investigations are going on. So he's not able to, a little bit evasive there in terms of giving us the official title in terms of the employment or the status rather of those 2. We do know that they are Zimbabwean nationals, but as to why they were at that house when the shootout occurred earlier on Friday, police were saying that the robbers or the suspects that were in the house were making their way towards a cash depot. A target was a cash depot. There was a heist that they had, according to police, planned for that particular day, Nzinga. But I also asked law enforcement officials, and I said, can we expect any more arrests, because the numbers keep going up? And he was saying, yes, indeed they are. In fact, they're advising those that are involved in what police have now termed a cash and transit syndicate between the 3 provinces to hand themselves in to police before police come and arrest them. So according to police, we're expecting more arrests, but obviously this being a story of a gruesome story, as you quite correctly said, but also a story that is developing. We understand that those investigations are in fact still going on over and above the events of Friday afternoon in Nzinga.
Have you had a chance to speak to any of the people who suspect that maybe their family members are in there, and what are they saying to you?
Zinga, we did have a conversation yesterday afternoon in LT Villas there in Louis Trichardt with the family of a Juliet Mugabe. She was the cleaner at the other domestic worker at that particular home. She was also shot because they came to collect. It was the first time, you'll understand, in Zinga where family members were able to go to that particular house to access that scene, because from Friday afternoon at about 2:30 it was now a crime scene, and crime scene investigators were there. They spent a good more than 24 hours, almost a day and a half, just processing that scene. We spoke to that family. They said that their daughter, she was a mother of 5. She was from, I think, Singo in Zim. She had only been working there for 3 months. For them, quite shocked. They didn't want to speak. It would seem I'm not sure if it's because of the issue of documentation in terms of a person's legal stay here in the country that the families, especially of the domestic worker as well as the gardener, refusing to speak. Today, earlier on in the day, we were going to actually, for this particular crossing in Zinga, speak to the family of 24-year-old gardener, Alex Mnyambi, who is also here. They said they were willing to speak, in Zinga, and they wanted to speak, but between us, the show going on and this process here, something, I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but there was a bit of hostility that we started experiencing. I mean, some of the families behind the camera, people not, you'd appreciate the nature of what happened on Friday, as well as the crimes that some of these individuals are associated with. I mean, we saw police pulling out AK-47s, R5 rifles at that scene. So, it's also, I suppose, maybe for some families, a personal family PR exercise that they don't want to necessarily be, associated. It's not winning a gold medal at the Olympics where everybody wants to be your family member publicly. So circumstances slightly different here, but also there's just a lot of an inability. Not an inability, rather. I don't know if it's a conversation, that families have had, that they've taken the stance not to speak to the media, but, publicly, so openly or on record, if you may. So we're not necessarily getting people who want to officially come on and say this is that, but we are slowly but surely we're able to identify some of those people that, met their death on Friday afternoon there at LT Villas in Louis Trichardt in Zinga.